Scott Jansen here, and I can guarantee you one thing, by the end of this video, you'll never, ever, ever want to become a hypnotherapist, a therapist, a coach, or an NLPer. Now, aside from the strange title, what I'm going to be talking about today is quite an advanced strategy that is really going to help you guys with what is known as resistant clients. Now, we talk about this in our Masters of Advanced Conversational Hypnosis, our MAC training, and it's an extremely advanced concept. But I thought, you know what, let me put it out to the wider audience because it's really going to help you guys if you're dealing with resistant clients. If the resistance, you're trying to have the rapport, you're trying to be kind and be nice, but you're still hitting brick walls and you seem to be getting client after client that's just not going along with what you need them to get the best outcome. So in this video, guys, I'm going to introduce you to an advanced concept called psychotic insight. If you've been to one of my trainings before, especially our masters, you would have heard me talk about this a lot. But here we are today. I'm going to give it to the masses. So let's get into it, guys, and why you never ever want to become a therapist. And it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek title. By the end of this, you'll understand why. So, understanding psychotic insight. If you've never heard this before, and I can guarantee there's probably no one else teaching this stuff because it is so advanced. Understanding psychotic insight. This is a phenomenon, guys, especially in psychotic clients, and a lot of advanced therapists and a lot of doctors and a lot of, I guess, hypnotherapists and psychotherapists would talk about this phenomena with their psychotic clients. Now, I'm going to take it one step further and show you how to apply this as a therapist. So psychotic insight is a phenomena that can have a client read your body language and cues like the tics, maybe the tapping of the hands, maybe when you speak, your voice breaks a little bit, not on purpose and not because of any other reason other than it just happened, but they can take these things as a suggestion. And psychotic clients, based on the literature that these therapists were talking about, had a real knack for taking conclusions, formulating conclusions, sorry, based on what the therapist was doing. So let's say, for example, the therapist is tapping their hand on the desk while treating a client, treating that patient. And this could mean that maybe the therapist is a bit nervous, or maybe they're not. They're just doing it because it's a natural tick or movement from them. And it's said that these psychotics and clients in general could be taking this as a suggestion that, okay, my therapist is nervous, maybe I should be nervous too. There's quite a disconnect from reality there in that case. But the therapist themselves doesn't even know they're doing this. It's just a cue. It's just a tick. It's just something they're doing without even noticing. But that person sitting in front of them, because they're more open to these things and there's not as many filters from conscious to unconscious, can take this as a suggestion. We do this in normal life. If someone has an angry face, and you see this, but let's say you're talking to a family member that have an angry face, they're not meaning to, you could take it as a suggestion that, okay, you're talking to me, that means you're angry at me. And this is just a conclusion, but this is what happens with our psychotic insight. And psychotic insight, unfortunately, creates resistance. It triggers your clients to stop having the rapport, triggers your clients to stop following along. So understanding the psychotic insight, guys, you've got to understand you as the therapist, you have an unconscious mind sitting in front of you that is going to be reading and listening and taking action possibly on everything you say and do. So you've got to be very, very aware of your own body language, the way your voice sounds, your tone, all of these things, to not inadvertently suggest something to your client that you don't want them to think or do. Hopefully that makes sense. So the resistance things is important, guys. So let's look at a quick list of what's going to actually trigger psychotic insight. And if you're ever wondering why your clients are resistant, this could be one. These are the common ones I see from therapist to therapist. And it's something we teach all of our students to stop doing because it is so important to get rid of that resistance. So things that trigger psychotic insight, guys, believe it or not, starting the session. Now, let's look at this. Yes, your client has paid you probably really good money. Yes, you know they want help. They've done the strategy call. They've followed you on social media and they're sitting down in front of you. But it does not mean they are ready. Now, people say, well, Scott, that's why I tell them about hypnosis. I tell them it's all going to be fine. They're not going to be caught in hypnosis. They're not going to get lost and they're going to give me their biggest secrets, all those sorts of things. But all you're doing is triggering this resistance even further. Starting the session is a cue if your client's not ready to almost stop it with resistance, to almost say in their mind, no, I'm not ready for this. Even though I've paid, clients can still not be ready for the therapy. So with ACH, we teach our students why we don't teach the language patterns. So we don't teach the scripts. All of these things tell your client that you have begun. Resistance is common when you start the session. This is that psychotic insight kicking in. So starting the session, you have to be more casual and almost hide it that you're starting the session. Hence why ACH is so powerful, because all it sounds like is we're just interviewing our client and asking them about the problem, but we have actually started something very hypnotic and trance-like and therapeutic, but our clients don't know. That's why we can bypass all of that resistance. So starting the session, that will definitely trigger psychotic insight. Think about reading a script. That's the most obvious way to tell your client that you have begun. Also, telling your client to close their eyes, relax, go into trance. These are all triggers for resistance. Now, if you've been taught hypnosis this way, this is not therapy. If you've been taught hypnosis this way, I would really start to think about learning something different if you're getting this resistance, because once you tell your client has started, resistance goes up. Now, not all clients are going to be like this, but I think it's important to understand psychotic insight and how easy it is triggered by starting the session and reading the script. I mean, what's more obvious than holding up a piece of paper in front of you, telling your client to close their eyes as you take them deeper, all that stuff? It tells your client you are starting. You don't want to do that because, and I won't get into it this video, people often talk about conscious resistance, but there's also unconscious resistance, which is even more powerful for your client and less important for us because it's very hard to break through unconscious resistance. And these two things will definitely trigger that. Number three, hypnotic language. I talked about this before. Not only does it have no place in hypnosis and therapy, it's not even needed. You sound different. And it's that idea of being different that triggers psychotic insight, which I'll talk a little bit more soon in this idea of changing things and going from going from person to therapist. This triggers the psychotic insight as well. So hypnotic language, be very, very aware of how silly it sounds and how it doesn't fit the context. Because you go from talking like I am now, just naturally, to then using hypnotic language, which is not natural. It's out of place. It doesn't fit the context. Sure, some therapists think they need it for therapy, which you don't. But all your client hears is, why is Scott going from talking naturally to these weird, strange questions, which I don't know what he's talking about and I feel uncomfortable while he's saying those things? This is resistance. You've got to be aware of that. Too much eye contact at the wrong time. So don't go from just general eye contact when you're chatting with your client to intense, like tractor beam eye contact on your client straight away. Work up to that, guys. Eye contact is extremely important. I use it every single session that I had and that I will have in the future. But I sort of ease myself into it. I'll break contact, then go back to it. Break eye contact, go back to it. When my client starts having those big unconscious moments, they start going into this trance thing during therapy, then I'm definitely going to use eye contact nonstop and I'm not going to look away. But again, ease into it. Number five, this is important, your own tics and movements, the tapping hands, maybe the swaying of the body, your tone, maybe leaning forward too much. All of these things trigger psychotic insight that something has begun. Again, leaning forward. If you go from sitting back casually with your client, then all of a sudden leaning forward like some evil hypnotist and you want to bring out your watch and swing it in front of them, obviously I'm hamming that up, but that really would trigger psychotic insight. So be very, very aware, especially if you've got these resistant clients, that you're not doing any of these things. So starting the session will trigger reading the script, hypnotic language, too much eye contact, your own tics and movements, leaning forward. And like I said, too much eye contact as well. Okay, I put that in twice, I just realized, but it's important, so let's have it twice. Okay, so how to not trigger the psychotic insight. Now, we teach all of these methods and ideas during our MAC trainings, our masters, but let me just go through two things here that'll help. Again, this is a very advanced concept. I've only got a couple of minutes to do this video. This normally takes a few hours in our training just to fully understand it, grasp it, and then apply the tools to never trigger it again. So how to not trigger the psychotic insight, guys. Okay. This is a big one. Do not switch from person to therapist. Stay a human being. Okay, the idea here is when we first go into being a hypnotherapist, we're a human being. We know nothing about the skill and the art. We go into being a hypnotherapist, and just like I did, I fell in love with it and I wanted to use it everywhere. But I made the switch from being human being at the start of the session to being what I call a hypnotherapy monster, where I do all of these things and I wonder why my clients were resistant, that trigger the psychotic insight. And my client, it's almost like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type thing. Okay, I'd go from normal Scott person to hypnotherapist that just wanted to put everybody in trance and use the language and be ridiculous with all that stuff. It's very obvious. So what I like to do with my clients now is I stay a human being, but I bring in all of those decades of experience of what I can do as a therapist into the session, but my client is none the wiser. They don't know I've made the switch. So the switch would be sitting back, talking normally, to then leaning forward, using the hypnotic language, maybe reading the script, too much eye contact, my own tics and movements, all of that stuff, and I'm going to trigger that psychotic insight. So stay a human being, guys. Be casual. Curious with your client. Take advantage of the unconscious moments they're giving you. Don't switch because it's very obvious. And again, you've got an unconscious mind sitting in front of you, and that will take it as an insight into that you've started. Lastly, is be curious. Do not judge or solve. So we all know this. Don't solve your client's problem. When you try and solve your client's problem, it sounds like you're doing something. When you're judging your client, it sounds like you're doing something. So you got to switch all these things off. If you get really curious with your client, you'll find that your posture is a lot more relaxed. You'll be able to ask better questions. You'll be able to do better therapy. The sessions will speed up because your client has no idea what's going on. All they see is this nice casual person in front of me that's listening to me. And I had this a lot with my clients. They say, Scott, I've been other therapists before. You're the only one who really listened to me. I think that's because therapists, obviously with the script thing, they're taking control. It's almost like you've got to guide your clients through this healing place. That's what other mentors are teaching their students, which is ridiculous. Instead, I like to listen to my clients because I need to listen for the unconscious moments. I need to listen to what are called categories of questions and question cycles. I've got to listen to all of these tactics. Those are all things we teach our students, but I need to listen to these things. So if I'm talking too much, I'll miss all these things. So I've got a client sitting in front of me that says, Scott, you're the first one to listen to me. Just listening alone is therapeutic. So if you're talking too much, you want to take a back step, start listening more, all of those good things you guys know you should be doing. But guys, that's psychotic insight. Hopefully that I explained that clear enough. Again, it usually takes about 2 or 3 hours to really get down into the dirt with this stuff. That's why we teach it in our program. But that's a little insight into psychotic insight. So if you're finding you've got resistance, guys, look at what you're doing. Is it obvious you've started the session? Are you reading the script? Are you using the hypnotic language? Is it too much eye contact? Beware of your own tics and movements. Are you tapping your hands without noticing? Do you have that little catch in your voice without noticing? You've got to get rid of all these things. The leaning forward, all of these things will trigger your client's resistance, and we do not want that, especially if it's unconscious resistance. So guys, that's why you never want to become a therapist. Stay a human being. Stay a human being, but bring all of those expert skills with you. And don't have your client see from when you switch from person to therapist. It's got to be seamless. That way you avoid all that resistance. All right, guys, hopefully that was informative. See you in the next video. Bye for now.